Well, a pleasant good morning to members of the Small Business Association, to our friends and partners, not only here in Barbados, but if you're joining from across the region, it's good to have you with us for this month's webinar. I'm Dr. Lynette Holder, Chief Executive Officer of the Small Business Association of Barbados. It is my pleasure not only to welcome you, but to moderate this session for the next hour. Let me share with you, colleagues, that this is our monthly information session. As you know, each month the organization hosts a webinar on a topic of interest, a topic that we believe will assist our members and our partners to navigate the journey of business development, entrepreneurship overall, having a better appreciation for the regulatory framework that we operate in and issues that would affect business. We do this every month on our Zoom platform, and we're so thankful to have you join in this March session. If you're new to this process, let me share with you that our session is recorded and will be available in another few days after we've done our edits on our SBA TV segment on the website of the association. That's www.sba.bb, and also on our YouTube channel. So if you miss any aspect of it, fear not, you can visit our platforms after and you can watch the session again. Also, at the end of the program today, we will place a link in the chat feature of this platform, inviting you to answer a few questions, just about 6 or 7 questions on today's topic. This helps us in our planning as we go forward. It gives us feedback on the session and the information that has been shared. This is critical to us, so we ask you, please don't rush off at the end. Stay on and complete this evaluation tool for us. And then thirdly, let me remind you that during the presentation by our subject matter expert, we'll ask you to make sure that your mics are muted and that you are jotting down your notes, your questions, your queries, etc. And at the end of the PowerPoint presentation, we will have a short question and answer segment. That is when you will pose your questions in the chat. You will use the chat platform and ask your questions, make your comments, and so on. And throughout that segment, we will be able to engage our presenter on your questions and our comments. So those are 3 points to please remember as we go through the session today. Jot your questions down, your comments down, and we'll have that Q&A after the presentation. Now, today's session, I'm very excited about, I must admit, as we look to the topic generative AI and the role in today's business, its role in today's business. Now, all of us on the call will appreciate, I'm sure we will all agree, that this is a game changer in business. As we speak now, we're having our webinar now. I understand that there is some AI technology that is also recording this session as we go forward. So you'll appreciate that AI has been a game changer. It is a disruptor for us in business and how business is done and will be done in the future. And we want to make sure that as entrepreneurs, as small business persons, that we have an appreciation for this new technology. Its pros, might I add, and even its cons, the benefits and any downsides that we need to understand and to ensure we put whatever mitigating factors that we need to draw on to address the risk associated with it. So in light of this, colleagues, we are pleased to have you with us today as we discuss the role of generative AI in today's business. So I am not the subject matter expert by any stretch of the imagination. So without any further ado, We want to dive right into our session today. Let me introduce our speaker for today's session. Joining us from Jamaica is Ms. Lisa Esty. She is the Senior Regional Strategy Manager for Cable and Wireless Communications, Central Small Business Commercial Division, with over 20 years of work experience in technology, consulting, and the marketing arena. Lisa has become an expert in her own right. She brings a wealth of knowledge, skills, and experience in management information systems, strategic management, value-added solutions, digital marketing, and business and marketing intelligence. As the lead for SMB, that is small business management, small and medium business. She's brought tremendous growth to the SMB digital portfolio and based across the region. Has also helped and continues to help drive the overall growth of the SMB segment. And with a continued focus and resilience, Flow SMB, we believe, will see even further success under her leadership. So today, we are pleased to have Ms. Lisa Esty from Jamaica and the Flow Business Office there to share with us on our topic today, understanding the role of generative AI in today's business. So let us give Lisa our full attention as she comes on now to share in this March webinar. Lisa, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction, Dr. Ola. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here representing Flow Business, right, on this topic, the role of generative AI in today's business, right? And I do hope that throughout this session and after this session that you will gain a lot of insights. So let's begin, right? So let me share. So are we good to go?
Yes, we're good to go.
Okay, that's good. All right. So the role of generative AI, right? Now, in today's fast-paced digital world, a lot of companies, a lot of sectors across the globe, they are consistently trying to find ways to optimize their operations. And with this technology, this ever-growing technology, generative AI, it's actually impacting that shift, which is a good thing. So let me ensure that we can get there quickly. So let's look at generative AI. So generative AI is pretty much a subset of artificial intelligence itself. Artificial intelligence, it has been around for some years, but it has evolved. And this is one of its evolution, artificial intelligence. Why is it so evolved? Because it is trained on more of a large data set. And because of that, it has the ability to do more intelligent, to bring more insights, more analytics. It has the ability to create, analyze, and optimize a vast amount of data. It can produce image, text, audio, and codes based on the request of a user. And one of the key things about generative AI is that it is continuously learning and adopting new data, which means that it's always bettering itself, so ever evolving, right? Now, what role does generative AI play in business? That's the question. Now, generative AI is a phenomenal start for business to push and get that optimization that they want. I mean, before AI, that's something that we always, and when I say we, I mean businesses, they're always striving to get optimization, because with optimization, it makes you more productive and you can reduce costs, right? Now, with three things that we're looking here, these are three key functions of generative AI: automation and innovation. You'll always see these words and these terms coming up because it surrounds these things. And with automation, it makes your life easier. It makes business easier. It makes optimization and efficiency now the key for your business. Then when you look at improved personalized customer experience, this is very important because without our customers, we don't have a business. So we're always finding ways and trying to seek ways so we can better serve them, their needs, their wants. And this is where generative AI comes in, as it has this great analytical background and platform that can actually analyze the market or the world of customers, how they behave, and what they're doing and what they would like, right? And the end goal of integrating generative AI in your business is productivity and efficiency, right? Because if you become efficient, then you increase productivity. And if you increase productivity, then more than likely you will reduce costs. And then you can realize your revenue. And that's the ultimate goal of business, right? And here are a few things that you can see that we can actually use generative AI to improve. I will actually speak on some of these in details as we go along. But for instance, like improving tasks. You know, in business, every day we have some repetitive tasks like email drafts or report generation. With generative AI, you actually can automate these tasks, giving yourself more time to look at other important strategies to improve your business. Also in customer support, this is an area that you'll find generative AI more than any other area. We have experienced it maybe on a daily basis. We have been experiencing it for the last couple of years. And to be honest, you know, in the beginning, a lot of persons, they weren't really taken to it because they like that human interaction. However, you will find that it's becoming more popular. You're hearing about AI more and more and more. Why is this? This is because of its evolution, and it's becoming more intelligent, and persons are now believing and trusting more in the information that it is providing, right? So let's look at some statistics in the Caribbean. So generative AI in the Caribbean, according to Statista, by the end of 2025, we can expect to see revenue, or it's projected that revenue may amount to over $91 million, with an expected annual growth of about 42%, which will take us to about 500 million by 2030. Also, PricewaterhouseCoopers in 2024, they did a survey asking a question: is AI a critical component for your company strategy? And the respondents, 45% says yes. Now, this goes to show that there is actually interest in the Caribbean, that there's actually action, and that people are actually evolving and taking on AI in their businesses, and that we can expect with this projection of 500 million, it means that we're actually expecting to see much more growth. So in terms of adoption, there are a lot of things happening in the Caribbean. So much I can't really, cover everything right here, to be honest. You have schools at University of Technology, University of West Indies, they're creating clusters. You have a number of AI projects that's coming into the Caribbean, and a lot of talks has been going on about artificial intelligence and generative AI specifically, right? But I'll focus on two areas from different perspectives today. Tourism. Now, according to Travel Age-Wise, it's saying that 33% of the tourism sector, they're utilizing AI. And that there's another 30% that's considering implementation. And I guess with this, it's safe to say that 63% actually has interest in artificial intelligence. So within the next 2 years, we can expect to see this 63% as actually having artificial intelligence implemented. This is a good thing, and this is a good shift in terms of adoption. Now, I want to speak about something that's happening actually in Barbados. Some of you may actually know about it, but this is actually a good thing. Now, AgriVI and Barbados Agricultural Development and Marketing Corporation, they partnered in last year to introduce a AI advisory, right? This is a first in the world advisory, and it's on agronomy operations. It is accessible via WhatsApp, and this is for farmers, right? It actually forms as a direct collaboration with farmers and the Barbados Agricultural Development, and it will provide insights like on market prices, financing options, agronomy operations, among many other things. And this is a great move and a great shift in AI for Barbados and for the Caribbean. And we can expect to see more coming from this. And I do believe that farmers welcome this kind of technology, as it can bring a lot of insights to help them to grow their business. So let's now take a quick look at global data. According to Exploding Topics, a blog that's on Exploding Topics, it says that 40% of companies globally, they're using AI. And here are some of the top common ways that they're using AI. You have customer service at the top with about 55%, right? Cybersecurity and fraud prevention. And then you have digital assistance, customer relationship management, and inventory management. And these are the top 5 among the others that you see, right? But I want you to remember this chart and who is at the top, as we will explore and speak about some of these as we go along. So let's look at some of the topics and how we can use them to improve generative AI to improve their business efficiency. So generative AI in marketing. Now, according to McKinsey, using generative AI in business strategically can automate up to 70% of tasks that takes up employees' time. And if you do that, it means that you have so much time on your hands now to focus on the other strategic initiatives that can actually help you to make better decisions in the business. For marketing, right, there are many areas you can use generative AI. But we're going to focus on 2 today: content creation and ad campaign optimization. So for content creation and personalization, AI can create and personalize campaigns, blog posts, and social media content. And how does this is beneficial? It drives better engagement and higher conversion rates. This is a plus for marketing. Also, with the ad campaign optimization, marketers, they're always trying to find ways to better promote, market products and services. So customers can actually be appealed, and they actually can move towards the product and services that they're advertising. Sometimes they don't hit it, sometimes they do. With generative AI in this space, what it does is that it uses algorithms across the different platforms that they're using ads. And then it can provide feedback on how those ads are performing and how you can actually now place your ads against those. It can help you to targeting strategies and bidding options. And overall, how is this beneficial is that it allows for more effective spend and improve return on investments, right? And that is always a key KPI for marketers. Now, for example, like GPT-powered copywriters enable marketers to generate high-quality written content in seconds, freeing up time to focus on strategy and creative innovations. These are some of the tools that you actually can use in this era. You have Jasper, HubSpot, ChatGPT, which is well known, and Grammarly, which you also may know, but Grammarly also has improved and evolved, integrating AI to make it even more intelligent and effective. Customer service. So remember, this was on top on the chart in terms of commonly used across the globe. We see it every day, we use it, we interact with it, right? And When you look on these interaction, most of the tools that we interact in this space is the virtual assistants or the chatbots. And I don't know about you, but when I use them these days, you actually can feel a difference. You can feel the evolution. You can feel that you're getting more answers that are human-like, or the conversations or the responses are pretty much accurate when you fact check. Now, with the chatbots and the virtual assistant, generative AI, it can handle simple customer queries, even some critical queries. And this system can provide instant responses. And that's very important when you implement it in your business, so you don't have customers waiting, right? And here it's improving customer satisfaction and reducing wait time. Now, sentiment analysis. We always want to know how our customers are feeling. And coming from an industry, that is that is very important, because every day we're getting different feelings, different behaviors, different emotions, right? And you may say, but we were doing this before AI. Now, the difference with generative AI and what we were doing before is that, again, generative AI, it is more intelligent, it has more data to work with. So let's give an example. For instance, like before with sentiment analysis, you would maybe look at like a post in social media that says, I love that my electricity is off. The sentiment analysis may pick that up and say that's a positive post. With generative AI, it will not see it as a positive post. It will actually see it as a negative post. Why? Because it looks not only on the keyword love, but it also looked at the entire sentence, right? Where it says that no electricity. So you see that it's evolving, it's advanced, and it has more data, right? It's trained on more data, it's more intelligent. So here, as it says, the tools can analyze customer feedback and interactions to gauge sentiment analysis. And this will allow the businesses to identify areas of improvement, and they can respond proactively to potential issues. And an example of this is that AI-powered systems like those from Zendex. I'm not sure if you're aware of Zendex, but Zendex is really known for like a ticketing system, but it also has advanced integrated AI that can automate support requests, analyze customer sentiment, and provide agents with helpful insights to resolve issues faster. Examples of tools that you can use here is customgpt.ai, Balto, and Balto is a tool that is really created for call centers. And it actually, what it does is that it's actually a part of the conversation that the agent is having with a customer. It runs on the conversation, analyzes it, and then it provides solutions in real time to the agent based on the conversation that they're having with the customer. You have Qualtrics, Brandwatch, and Zoho Analytics, and these are just a few. Now, product development. So product design lifecycle can be very tedious and very long. It takes time, takes money, and you can always be going back to the drawing board based on prototyping and testing. With generative AI tools, you can actually produce designs and prototypes quicker and accurately, reducing the time and cost involving traditional product design processes. You also have analytics here. And this is all, again, important, as this is geared towards how we serve our customers. And with this analytics, it's looking at future product trends. So you can actually have something in concept and develop for what is coming in the future, or you can actually get rid of what you have now because it may not be relevant for the future. It helps you to understand which features or which products will resonate most with customers, and that's important. And AI here can give companies a clear picture of the market's evolving needs. You have brands like Adidas and Nike that's using AI in their product development processes. The AI algorithms that they use help to predict what styles, what features will perform best on current customer behavior. And some of the tools that you can use here is GitHub, Copilot, and DALL-E, and Adobe Photoshop, among the many. Finance and accounting. This is very important because I think every business has some type of accounting to it, right? And dealing with numbers can become so tedious. can become so long, and I mean, it can become something that's really mind-busting. You want to ensure that you're getting it right, you're not making mistakes, and that you're not missing anything. Right here, generative AI can make tremendous impact because it has the ability to traverse these data, these numbers that the human eye could maybe not traverse within the same within a time frame that it can. It can look at financial reporting. This part is very important. As we spoke about earlier, repetitive tasks. You have some financial reports that you may have to produce on a weekly basis, daily basis, maybe a monthly basis, right? With generative AI, you can actually provide these financial reports. It actually can do financial statements. It can create budget templates. And these reports will be created at a faster speed with accuracy than if you were doing it manually. Benefits here is that it reduces the risk of human error, freeing up time for financial analysis and strategic decision making. Now, fraud detection and risk management. I think we have been hearing a lot about fraud for the last couple of years. We have heard so many cases, seen so many cases. Some of you may actually even had some of that happening to you, right? And with generative AI, fraud detection becomes much easier as it can monitor transactions in real time, detecting anomalies and flagging potential fraud, giving businesses the opportunity to actually mitigate against this before it really gets bad. Now, the benefits here is that it helps businesses to assess financial risk more effectively by analyzing market conditions and company performance. Now, platforms like QuickBooks, which you may know of, Xero, are leveraging AI to automate bookkeeping, tax calculations, and financial reporting, significantly reducing the workload for accountants and improving financial accuracy. Some of the tools that you can use is Claude, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and you'll see some of these tools repeating because they're so diverse, like ChatGPT. Now, next topic, cybersecurity, another topic that we have been hearing a lot about within the last couple of years. Generative AI here, again, very impactful as it enables you to detect threats in real time, analyzing massive data sets to identify potential cyber threats such as malware or phishing attacks. It can recognize patterns and detect abnormalities faster than traditional security methods. It does automated response, so it's not only detecting, but it's also giving you automated response with solutions to mitigate against the risk that's coming up. It triggers the automated response when a threat is detected and can prioritize security incidents based on severity, ensuring that critical threats are addressed first, and that is very important. Predictive security is also important here. And what it does is that it analyzes past cyber attacks. So you actually can predict what may happen based on the breaches that happened in the past. And this can actually help businesses to strengthen their defense before the attack occurs. Some companies like Darktrace using AI generative security or cybersecurity solutions, and they provide real-time threat detection and automated responses. You have like Microsoft Security, Copilot, Tejon, and many more. So those were some of the areas that generative AI actually has an impact on the business functions, right? But now let's look at some of the strategies that small businesses may need to look at if they're thinking or considering integrating generative AI effectively. So one of the first things that you need to do is to create a roadmap for your AI integration, defining your business goal. And these goals must be clear for incorporating generative AI into your business processes. And when it is clear, the clearer it is, the better it is to drive growth and enhance the operational efficiency. The next thing to do is evaluate your business data infrastructure. Infrastructure, very important, because you need to assess if you have it or if you need to get it and how much it's going to cost you, right? And how much is the business willing to spend if it's depending on the cost, right? Also, you need to assess the data sources that you'll need and the data sources that you have and how you are going to integrate generative AI, because different tools, generative AI tools, they can be integrated differently. And the next one is very important, staff and training. Why is it important? Because we have seen over the last year with the advancement of technology, how it impacts your staff, how it impacts people buying into it. You know, you have laggards, you have people that are resistant to change. And I mean, it's fair, it's a fair feeling, right? But when you incorporate staff in what you're doing, when you involve them and you give them a clear view of what's happening on your roadmap, they can become more, receptive to this change. And ensure that you have the skill sets for integrating generative AI. If you don't have them, then you have to go and hire. And if you're hiring, you can also train, right? So it's very important that you have the complement where you're shifting the culture toward generative AI and that you have the right skill sets to operate the generative AI tools. And the next thing is maximizing return on investment with AI solutions. This is very important. So when you're investing, you want to ensure that you are selecting the right tools. And if you select the right tools, I don't think you can really fail, combined with the other things that we mentioned, right? And with this, you can yield significant returns, particularly when aligned with the business objectives. So here we have a few of the tools that's used under content creation and business operations. I won't go through a lot of them, right? We spoke about ChatGPT before, which is one of the most popular and diverse generative AI tool. And I will show you eventually why it is. And this can be used for marketers. It can be used pretty much for anyone, right? You also have presentation tools. It takes so much time. And I know you know this, like when you're trying to do a PowerPoint, it can take you hours, it can take you days, depending on the topic or what you're doing. With the presentation AI, you can actually do this in minutes, right? And some of these that you have is beautiful.ai, you have Gamma, presentation.ai, again, Microsoft Copilot, and Slides AI. And there are some more. Now, for those persons who are maybe in the creative space, like, you do animes or video production, or you want to create some content for your social media or your website, you have video generative AI tools like Plixie, Veed, Runaway, and Syntesa, right? These tools, they help you to be more efficient. Again, these tasks can be very tedious. They can take very long to do. With generative AI, you can do them within minutes. I didn't say hours, I mean within minutes. And I'm also going to show you some of these. Right? And under business operations, you have some task and project management tool. If you're into project management, this will help you because this, again, it takes up a lot of time, scheduling, coordinating, organizing, taking notes. You will have these tools that can help you to do so. Email management, another thing that most of us need to deal with daily. You have Google Gemini that can help you with that. Shortwave, Microsoft Copilot, among others. Then you have automation. To be honest, I think all tools fall under automation, but some of them that are specific is like Zapier, because Zapier, what it does is that you can actually customize generative AI specific to your business or the task that you like to get done, right? And then on the product design, you have like Figma, that's actually looking at like helping you to brainstorm ideas. You have Adobe XD for the design section of it. And these are just some of the top companies that's actually creating and developing generative AI. So OpenAI, they're the one that create ChatGPT along with any other GPT. Then you have Google AI, which you may see every day when you tap into Google, and it's called Google Gemini. You have the Microsoft Apple, of course, and Amazon, they have a lot of tools for different reasons, right? And then you have Nvidia, which is very popular, right? So let's go into how some of these work, right? Let's take this into action. So the first one we're going to look at is ChatGPT. Now, what I like about ChatGPT, right, is that, as I said before, it's very diverse. It's clean, it's easy to use, it's not complicated. You don't have to be technical to use ChatGPT. Because I'm going in, it's not the first time that I'm going in it, you won't see some of the pop-ups that it has, but it does normally give you some sensitivity checks, ensuring that you know what you're getting into. So, and I'm going to tell you this for any GPT or any generative AI that you're using, ensure that you don't share personal information, sensitive information. Ensure to fact check anything that you do, because remember, generative AI, they pull from many sources, and some sources may not be legit. They're getting better, they're still evolving, but still fact check. Okay, so let's see how generative AI works here with ChatGPT. We're going to start off simple. Simple, simple, simple. So let's ask it something. And by the way, you can type or you can use the voice command. I won't use the voice command now, but I'll type something. So let's see. Top SMBs in Barbados. So you see what I mean when I say in seconds, minutes? This is the answers that you're getting. You're not seeing, right? Because I'm using two different screens. So sorry. Let me try again. So sorry. You can see the ChatGPT, right? Dr. Oler?
Yes, but we're not seeing the response that it is giving.
Okay, all right, no problem. Let me try again.
We can see the response now.
That's good. That's good. All right. So I don't know, you might see some of your businesses coming up here, right? But these are the responses that ChatGPT gives within seconds. So just an example to show you, like, just a simple request. And it also asks, engages with you. Would you like me to focus on specific industries? Are you looking for SMBs related to your handcraft business? And that's because I was looking for something on handcraft before. So it actually remembers what I was looking for. But I will go a little further and to do something a little bit more, I would say, a tedious task. Write business. Can't spell all of a sudden. Business proposal to who they wanted to write to.
To the bank. That's a good one.
To the bank. What do we want to propose to the bank?
We need a loan.
Okay.
Business proposals for loan.
About accessing loan for small businesses.
Mhm.
It will get this accessing. All right, so we'll start there. You know how long it takes to write a business proposal or a business plan? Look at this. Yeah, in seconds. That's brilliant, right? And depending on what you're writing, it will also ask you questions like if you want it to be formal, informal, professional, the style. Sometimes it gets into that, right? So it can be on point. Another thing, let me see if I can, because I'm working with 2 screens, so sorry. So another thing with ChatGPT is that it can access other features, right? Not just itself. I like that it shares with you. So if it can do something, it will tell you that it can do something, and it will actually guide you to places that can. So let's try to test that query. Create a bot image. So it's creating an image now. Great. Create a video. There you go. Created a bot. Create a video. It says I can't generate videos directly, but I can suggest ways for you to create one. So that's a good thing. It guides you also on what to do and the tools that you can use, right? And it also gives you the options to explore GPTs. So if you click on explore GPTs here, you'll see many more that's coming up, right? All these are GPTs. And GPT is a form of generative AI, by the way, which comes under the type of generative AI that is called auto-regressive AI, right? So let's look at another type of generative AI. This one is called Flicky, right? And Flicky is used for video creation. I actually like this one, to be honest, but it's not the paid version. If you don't have the paid version, you won't get the full features. So as you can see here, it can allow you to do idea prompts. You want a script for your video, it can help you with that. You want to convert your URL into video, it can do that. Your PowerPoint into video, which may be interesting for some of you, you can also do that. So we're going to test this with the idea prompt. So let's say we want a video, create a video for a video on construction for my social media. All right. You also can drag and drop your own things in here in terms of like pictures that you need to use, but it will actually guide you if you don't have any, because it has in stock videos, pictures, stuff like that. So the first thing for you to do is to select the template that you would need, right? So we're doing construction, so we're gonna go with let's go with this one. Social media story. We'll be doing it in English. What do I want it to do? I want it to be informative, project showcase, owners, contractors. Yeah, we can do that. So it's generating the script now. Here's the script. Again, in seconds. Right? If you like this script, you can select next, or you could go and regenerate another script. Here's where I was speaking about, where you can actually add your own. You have the stock media, AI avatar, or you have brand kit. You can see that this is locked because it's not the paid version, right? So we're gonna go with the stock. I have no other options right now. And then you can also go and select voice, right? So for this tool, the only thing, because we're from the Caribbean region, you may not find the Caribbean voices in here. So I'm hoping that eventually it will evolve so we can actually have that part of it. So for now, I guess I'm just going to work with a voice and you can test them out. Right. So I guess I'll just use James. Select. Did I select gender? Male. James. Okay. You have voice style. So we are doing hopeful. Right here. Okay. Submit. Let's see. Now, some of these, the more you put in, the more you ask, will depend on the time that it returns, right? So still, it's going to be less than what you would be doing manually if you weren't using generative AI. But it's dependent on what you ask for. All right, here we go. Right. So imagine if you add your own voice to this and your own images and stuff like that. This is actually what it would produce. I think this is a great tool, again, for if you want to put videos on your social media or your website, or if you're into video creation, this actually helps a lot. Yeah. So and that was just a quick showcase. So we will go back to our presentation, which is pretty much coming to the end. So in conclusion, I'll say that generative AI offers endless possibilities for growth and innovation. It is rapidly transforming business operations across a variety of functions, from sales to cybersecurity, as we looked at just now. Now, by understanding and embracing these technologies, business can use generative AI to streamline operations and make more informed decisions. So, as business continue to navigate an increasingly digital world, staying ahead of AI trends and investing in the right AI tools will be essential for long-term success. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Lisa, for the presentation. We particularly appreciated the practical demos that were shared. I'm not so sure if I would use that business plan though, because I was watching, I didn't see any numbers being generated. I
Well,
guess
the good thing about
I would
it,
have to put in the data to get
yes, the good thing about it is that you
numbers.
actually can ask it to include those
Yes.
things.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that was just tongue in cheek. But we get the point that even a business plan can be generated in minutes,
Yes.
versus weeks that we would normally take to prepare a business plan.
Exactly.
And the video, I mean, I assume that you can put it, you can determine what voiceover you want, and then
Right.
you have a video created for a construction business as a promo. Someone asked in the chat, can you do the same thing with flyers? I'm assuming that that's a yes. You can also
Yes.
use the program to create flyers.
Definitely, and maybe not specifically Flicky, because Flicky is for video, but you do have generative AI tools that actually can do flyers for you. Canva is a very popular one, right? A lot of people know about Canva, but Canva can do videos, flyers, even Adobe Photoshop that you know about, it has integrative AI in it. So yes.
Okay. Rather interesting. I mean, I listened, Lisa, I'm sure the others on the call did too. And there was a point you raised, I wrote it down. You said that generative AI is always improving itself.
Yes.
And I wrote that down with a question mark, because always improving itself would give the impression, you know, that it has its own intelligence, that there's not some hand behind that is actually using whatever algorithms and programming and so on to give it the data, you know. So what can you clarify that some more for us, please?
It's a good question, right? And to be honest, that question that you just asked sparked a lot of fear in people because generative AI, artificial intelligence itself, it actually can act on its own, right? Based on how it's trained, right? So when I say that it betters itself, I think we also have something to do with it because it's based on your feedback and your responses, right? And the data that's also is also being trained on. So for instance, like what we just did, right, with ChatGPT, if you said to it that, okay, can you add more data to it? It would actually remember that and say that next time I do this, I should be adding more data, right? So we on the human side, we do actually have an impact on how it actually evolves itself. You don't know it, that it's doing that, but it's actually learning and taking the responses and the feedback that you're getting given.
I am a fan of Transformers, you know, so you know how I'm feeling right now, right? Anybody who watched Transformers, you know, anyhow, some question marks will go off in your mind. But let's go to the chat.
No
Because
problem.
I'm seeing a couple of comments here. One that struck me. We heard all of the good side, the good things about generative AI. But here's a comment that says it is noted that AI can generate realistic looking fake identities or replicate someone's voice, leading to identity theft and fraud. You know, similarly, chat boxes and chatbots and AI systems may inadvertently expose sensitive user data. What are your thoughts?
So you
How to mitigate these violations?
so you are correct. You are correct. And that is why I said that whenever you're using generative AI, ensure that you fact check as best as possible. Because you'll see, for instance, like you're getting messages on your phone or you're seeing some kind of ads or emails that you're getting, they're generative AI. There are people that actually uses this technology to be manipulative, right? They don't use it in the right way. And where you can represent something and let it seem as if it's real, it's called hallucination. And it really does, like, you can't really tell, is it real or not? But you have to do your checks. It's upon us to know that this is not 100%. We have to fact check. We have to check our sources, and we have to be careful of the tools also that we're choosing to use, right? So you research your tools before you use them, especially if they're fully free, right? They can be stealing your data, getting onto your computer, and doing manipulative things. So you have to actually just take the responsibility to be careful when you're using these tools because you are definitely correct. People will take advantage of these things.
Yeah. And then me, I
Yes.
took note of that when you said it too, you know, fact check. You have to make sure and fact check. So even if it spews out a business plan for you in
Right.
seconds, you have to
Fact
go through
check.
it thoroughly, fact check it, you know, before you can even consider
Right.
concluding that for submission to any financial institution. And then
Right.
don't share personal information. You made that point. Do
Don't
not
do
share
that.
personal
Yeah.
information. Catherine, I'm with you. Catherine says she also liked Transformers. But here's a question: Is generative AI the official name, or are there different types of AI? I mean, what's the difference with AI, I guess, and generative AI? Because you said AI has been around for a long time.
That's been around for a long time, and we just normally refer it to as AI, but you have so many different branches and so many different types, and generative AI has different types to it. Some of them can become so technical. I think I did have in my presentation, but I took it out. I didn't want to get too technical. But you have like GAN, GAN, right? That's generative artificial, I think it's network. And what that does is similar to what we're speaking about. It's like it has two different networks, one that's looking a generator and one that's actually deciphering whatever you're generating, if it's real or not, right? And if it sees it as fake, it pushes it back to the generator until that generator spills out something that actually looks like it's real. So at the end of the day, when they both say, okay, this is real, then you can say this can go out there. This can go out there. I can't find anything to say that it's fake. So that's one type. And then you have the auto-regressive, which the GPTs fall under, right? And you can see what that's about. And you have many other generative AI, right? It's just a different types, but you'll find a lot of persons speaking on or showcasing auto-regressive generative AI because of the GPT functionalities and popularity.
Right.
Yeah,
Joan is saying that she uses Jasper.
yeah, that's
And
good.
yes, referred it to her website to learn, inverted commas, to learn her brand voice. What are your thoughts about the risk of giving AI access to that information?
Wow. So you see, I'm between a rock and a hard place always because I'm from technology side. I'm a computer scientist, at first foremost, right? And so I do know the risk and the impacts, but I also know the great things that it brings. So I would say it's upon you, right? Again, I would just reiterate what I said before. Just ensure that you research any tool that you used before. And based on the information that you see, are you comfortable with using those tools? Because some people will still see some things that are not, I would say, that's flagged, but they still use it. That means that you're taking up a risk on yourself. So it's dependent on you. Do your research, do your fact check, ask questions. Yeah. And I remember I was watching another webinar recently, and there was one suggestion that they made, and I think it's also a good suggestion. If you are testing any tools, sometimes don't use your email that you have, create a new one to test these things, right? That's also a safe way to do it. And if you feel comfortable with everything that is responding on top of that email, then you can actually say, okay, I can use this maybe with my others. Yeah.
Yeah, but you talked about cybersecurity. I mean, if you may set up a different email, but you're using the same device, isn't it?
Yeah,
So you can
it
still hack
is.
the device with some sort of ransomware, malware, or
That's
something.
that's a very good point there. So ensure that you have the security set up before you start doing it.
Agreed.
Right.
Anderson, I don't know, Anderson being a little cheeky here, asking, do financial institutions have access to AI? And if
They
so,
do.
why do small entrepreneurs have to wait some 6 weeks or more to open a commercial bank account?
Wow. So they have AI. I can tell you that they have AI, but maybe it's not in that area to improve that area, I should say, right? And to be honest, the reason why I show the strategies is that you also have to ensure that the roadmap is clear and what you're doing is clear. And I still believe that a lot of businesses that are using AI, they're still trying to figure it out. They haven't gotten it right because you have heard a lot of complaints in terms of like banks and people traveling, and they're trying to mitigate one thing, like mitigate fraud. So the AI flags you when you go out and travel, it flags you automatically. It's not somebody there that's flagging you. The AI flags you and say, there, okay, you're traveling, there's a weird, transaction going on, and it blocks your card. But then it takes 2 weeks or a month. So you're in a foreign country and you're stranded. So there are some kinks that they still need to work on when you're implementing these things. So it's on them. It's on them.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
let's take one or two more questions before we wrap up. What's your advice or guidelines relative to writing prompts? Is a question here.
Writing prompts. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Guidelines on writing prompts. So prompts, for me, in terms of writing prompts, I think you would pretty much follow basic guidelines. The tools that you use to write the prompts, and I'm trying to remember a tool. I can't think it off the top of my head. They normally guide you on what to do, how to do it. But I say keep it generic, keep it simple at first, right? The tools that you're using, if you see that they're working for you, then you actually can advance and improve the different prompts that you're doing, right? Yeah, I don't think I have much to say on prompts, to be honest. So yeah.
Mhm. Okay, and finally, I'm gonna admit, Lisa, I'm seeing some comments here from Adil. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Adil. I am agreeing with him here because I think that the what we're seeing now is an over reliance on the technology that reduces, as he calls it, and I agree, critical thinking. And that is my concern. I have no problem in the use of technology, but you must have a foundation first as an individual. I mean, I went somewhere and a person, I had to get back 50 cents change from a transaction, and the individual literally had to use a device to calculate that. And our generation, I mean, we know we were taught in the time when you had the tables at the back of the book and you had to
Right.
memorize those tables. So you were forced to use your brain. You had to use your brain. And that is the concern now. With the reliance on technology, we're producing a generation or generations that are not using their brain. So you're not getting any critical thinking and analysis coming from our generation. That must be a concern for us going forward.
Definitely. It is a big concern, but for me, I say be strategic about it, right? Be very strategic about it. You're not going to push the technology in every area. You're not going to push it in every area. And when you do push it in the areas, you're going to use it to enhance your capabilities, right? So yes, I can think, I can brainstorm, but sometimes you be in, I would say a brainstorming room and you're there for days thinking about what new products to develop, right? But then you can use generative AI to actually help you along. It's not doing all the work, it's putting out ideas too. It's giving you references, it's telling you why, and you can actually, think quicker. Because remember, at the end of the day, the whole purpose of generative AI is to improve efficiency. So if you take back to that example that you spoke about in terms of having the numbers and the tables on the back of the book, right? The time it takes us to go to the back of the book, it's a possibility we could have generated the number using a calculator, right? At the end of the day, yes, we know it's reliant, we don't like it, but for businesses, even though we don't like it, efficiency is what we are aiming for to improve. But I do, from a technical standpoint, I still believe that we always need a human element. Yeah. Don't think I'm saying go AI and we're shifting to that space, right? It can become very dangerous. We have seen all of the movies. It can become real, yes, where they take over and all of that. But that's when you let go of it and you just giving them that access to do everything by themselves. Always have that human element behind it.
Yeah, we're gonna agree to disagree on some elements,
And
Lisa,
that's fine.
because people, I think a person should know naturally 1 and 1 is 2. That should be there in your brain, and you don't have to rely on a device to verify 1 and 1 is 2. When we tell you 1 and 1 is 11, you understand? So you gotta know it. You gotta know it up here first and foremost.
And I agree with you on that, because if it tells you that it's 11, you should be able to say, but no, it's 2.
Yeah, but if you don't know it's
Right?
2, you can't say it's 2. All right, and finally, someone is asking, where would you recommend us go to further increase our knowledge of AI?
Wow, the internet.
Oh dear, you're going there?
The internet, I kid you not, like Google itself, if you go on Google right now, when you type something, you're going to see AI, right? Everything you ask in Google, or you can even go to Microsoft, you research things, just ask for tools, ways you can use them, do your research. You can go to YouTube videos. There's so many YouTube videos that tells you how to use these things, right? So the internet.
Okay. All right,
Yes.
so that's a wrap, folks. Time is up. You know that we try to have these sessions just about an hour. We're at 12:05. The link is being placed now in the chat for you to please click on that link and give us your feedback on today's session. Again, a very informative one. Thanks to Lisa Esty. She is the Senior Regional Strategy Manager at Flow Business. She's there, located in Jamaica. I trust the weather is as nice as it is over
Well,
here in
it's raining
Barbados. I mean,
now, but that's a good
you have the
thing.
Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, with you, so you want to make sure that he enjoys good Caribbean weather.
Definitely.
So yes, thank you very much for coming on the call. And colleagues, remember that these sessions are part of our information series for our members, our partners, and our colleagues. Every month, we try to have a topic of interest. We've discussed AI before, but there's so many changes to this topic of AI. You'd appreciate that we have to, repeat sometimes, bring it with a different angle, a different focus, to make sure that you're being kept up to date with what is happening. I hope that you found the information to be instructive. Again, as I said at the beginning, I reiterate now, you can go on our website and our YouTube channel after, and you can watch it again in the event that you miss any aspect of the session today. Is there for you, and please stay tuned for the next session. The next area of focus for us will be no doubt Bitcoin, because that now is another emerging feature for the sector. So we invite you to look out for that session in the near future. But thanks very much, colleagues, all for being with us. Please complete the evaluation tool. Thanks again, Lisa, and to Flow Business, our telecoms partner, for continuing to work with us as we organize these information sessions. God bless you all. Have a good day, everyone. See you on this channel for the next occasion. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.